And yes, and we are live. Hello, everyone, and hello, Tim. What's going
Hello,
on, dude?
we are finally live. We tried yesterday and it didn't work out, and it seems to be a lot better now.
I know, bloody internet connections, man. It's
It happens.
always an issue, especially bad weather here as well. But shit happens, man.
No sweat. Part of the live experience, isn't it?
Exactly right. So you're wearing a Metallica t-shirt. I'm wearing my Taco t-shirt.
Two great things.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to 713. They're a clothing company from the States. They're really cool. They got like some really cool merch, horror-based merch, but like there's some really cool shit like this. But what's been happening, brother?
Oh, everything and nothing. Just usual life of work and, trying to do the band thing and doing a bit of YouTube stuff, which has been fun. And it's all revolved around music and guitars and whatnot. So it's been a busy few months, or it's actually been quite a busy year. I'm not going to lie. So, it'll be fun to wind the year down, I reckon.
Yeah, and then ready for the new year.
Yeah, which is already like crazy busy. I'm going to be touring with a band called Run, filling in on guitar, who are supporting the Amity Affliction with Alpha Wolf and Terminal Sleep. Yeah, and that'll be like a 4-week tour, so like kind of 5 or 4 legs, I believe. Kind of a bit of a regional tour, which will be very fun. Be probably my first kind of tour of that size, but it'll be like 16 shows or something all through January. So I've got to do some homework. I've got to learn the songs and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be super fun. I'm very, very excited. It'll be really sick. So yeah.
When you learn. Well, when you learn songs, right, do you play by ear or do you look for tabs online? Because I find tabs online are never right.
Yeah, when I was growing up learning, tabs was a very useful thing. But recently, or not recently, but like as I get a little older, I tend to try to learn by ear first and revert to a tab if I'm right, or if, just to figure out what's going on. Just because, well, when you're younger and you're learning by tab, and if that tab's wrong and you're not learning by ear, you're just playing the wrong thing. So it's just this counterintuitive way of learning, and you've been playing the wrong thing for so many years or whatever, and you get older and you're learning by ear, and you're like, hold on, I've been playing that wrong the whole time. So I think lately, in the last few years, it's been like, let's hear it first, see if I can get it, and then if I can't get it, or if I'm just needing some help, tabs are pretty handy, because then I can at least see where I need to be, and if there's a note wrong, you have a trained enough ear to figure that out. So
yeah, that's true. Sometimes I don't know if you do it, but I normally do this. Like when I go to concerts, though, I always look at the guitar player and what they're playing.
Oh, 100%.
Not to sound creepy, but like
you just watching fingers, yeah.
I'm just watching the fingers and how he's playing those riffs. Because I remember when I went to Black Sabbath on the final tour, and I was at the front, and I was just like, shit, I'm playing this wrong. Yeah. From the master himself.
You're right, and that's also a great way to learn as well. I've learned things the right way from watching the band, even on YouTube, where I'm like, how is this being played? Even if it's like the chord, because like on the bottom strings, the chords can be in one area, and then if you're playing it on the A, it could be in one area. You kind of just want to know where it's actually originally played, or at least what the artist plays. So that's always handy as well, and you can kind of just get a glimpse of where the hands are, where the fingers are, and you get a much better idea. So that's another great way to learn.
It's just you just have to figure out the tuning.
Yeah, and that can always be depending on the band. Like unless you know the band, and you have a well enough trained ear, you can kind of figure out, oh, that's in B, or that's drop D or drop C. It just depends on, I guess, your experience with learning music or knowing what different bands use and things like that. So all that stuff just comes with time. It's like there's no real right or wrong way to learn these days, especially these days where there's just so many resources out there. So you're kind of like just open to learn in any way that helps you the most.
Yeah, 100%. I still do that at concerts now and stuff like that. But now when I'm learning songs these days, now I either look for live footage or whatever, like the best live footage I can find on YouTube, because now with YouTube's changed a lot for guitar playing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there are people who have grown up who are 10, 15 years younger than me, and I could never play what they're playing. It's just like, how is this happening? And that's because they've had this resource the whole time. And yeah, they've probably practiced more than me, but got to cut myself some slack sometimes. But you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like people are learning so much quicker these days. Where it's like when I was getting into guitar, it was, or at least from my knowledge of it all, was like you go to a teacher, you go to a lesson once a week, and then you learn whatever the teacher is teaching you, and then just try to get it in that week. So like that's a pretty, I guess, not that it's slow, but things can be a lot quicker if you're teaching yourself, or maybe there's Skype lessons now, so you don't have to go to a place anymore. You could have lessons more than once a week. Everything is so much more accessible these days, which is a great thing. There's absolutely nothing. There's no real negatives other than maybe learning the wrong thing, and having a teacher would be good to have a teacher to teach you the right way of things, techniques, and the way to do things. But in regards to actually like just feeding your brain with how to play something, or just getting your head around something, you could do that in an hour these days. So
100%. Especially like back in the old days, for like the older generation of guitar players, how they would learn songs would be like rewinding the tape or record. Like how fucking how frustrating that would be.
For sure. And they're probably thinking about us who played with a teacher and tabs and things like that. Like, you guys we didn't have tabs, you know what I mean? So it's just like getting incrementally just more and more resources in this world. So yeah, it would have taken a week to figure out, or would have taken me a week to figure out, what a certain riff is doing, or where the chord goes from something else. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be in a fast paced world, being able to learn things very quickly. So, and that's like with anything. Like, I got into some video stuff. I don't call myself a videographer really, but I got into learning videography and just trying to make some videos, and it's just figuring it out. And it took probably quicker than I would have imagined 10 years ago. So, I've just fed myself information all over YouTube and things like that. And it's become like a pretty cool hobby to have. So, and that's thanks to resources these days. So can't complain, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've noticed that on your YouTube. I think it was on Instagram is the one that I reposted up. That's kind of cool that you're doing these things. And obviously you work for a guitar company that is well known for metal artists, for ESP guitars, correct?
Yeah. I work
ESP LTD, yeah.
ESP, it's the same. It's like, what Gibson is to Epiphone, basically. So I work in distribution for wholesale for the last 9 years in the Australian sort of music industry. So I deal with a few brands. ESP is one of them, and a big one. If that guitar rack behind me, as I lean over, that's just full of ESP. Yeah. So I'm quite a big fan of the brand. I've always been a fan of the brand. And within that job is, doing some video stuff, which has been really fun. So that's my bread and butter. That's how the bills are paid. Kind of. That's how they're paid late.
Yeah, 100%. Have you, like, obviously what you were saying, that you've always been a fan of playing ESP guitars. Do you have like any of your idols apart from James Hetfield?
Oh, you hit the nail on the head.
See, I just threw a curveball there.
That is like, it is a curveball. I mean, Hetfield is
That's it.
it's the one. In regards to the brand, I guess these days Josh Middleton's a big influence of mine, of Silosis.
Yes.
He is just like modern god. He's the
very
dude.
underrated.
100%. And Silosis, I discovered Silosis in I don't know, when did Dormant Heart? Maybe 2015 or something like that. So it's been a few years, and I was just astounded. I'm like, these are the dudes. And then Middleton ends up being on ESP. And then, like, to add to that, Willie Adler from Lamb of God is a big influence of mine. And Bill Kelleher from Mastodon as well. So, and they're all just
you interviewed.
Ages ago. Yeah. Good research there. There was a video we did ages ago where I do these kind of rig, like the rig rundown things, go through some guitars and gear. I generally don't interview in front of the camera. I'm just behind the camera and they go through it because they want to listen to the artist more than they want to listen to me. So so we organized a clinic. We organized a clinic with Bill at a store, and then sort of tucked away in an amp room and said, "Hey, let's do this for 5 minutes." So that was like it was pretty cool because like Kelleher's just been a massive influence on me. A lot of, obviously, his rhythm playing and the riffs he creates is just like second to none. So yeah, there's a few these days with the ESP world, and I'm very, very grateful to sort of be, I don't know, I guess the ESP guy for Australia. So we do a lot of in-stores as well, events and product launches, and I work closely with all the main partners of ESP. So I'm very grateful. It's very fun. It's fun to do something that you're passionate about, or at least, working around your passions. I'm a big advocate of that. You don't have to, obviously, you do what you want to do. But I know for me, like, I didn't do uni. I'm not interested in it in the slightest. And this was a job that had guitars, and I could talk about guitars and be the guitar nerd that I am, and have a job around it. And it's been really fun. I can't picture really doing anything else, to be honest. So very grateful.
Yeah, 100%. And you pretty much stick to what you love, really. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, man, it's like everyone has bad sides of jobs, but I'm not exactly. I really can't complain. I'm talking about guitars all the time, like all the time. As long as you love what you do, man, that's like the main thing. You know what I mean? So, are you actually endorsed by them as well? Like, since you obviously play in a band, but
yeah, I mean, I can't really endorse myself on a local Australian level. To be honest,
okay.
It would be just kind of weird if I was like, "Hey, here's me doing this." Like, I play the guitars and I love them. If the band got to a point where I thought we could reach a worldwide endorsement, then I'll hammer down I'll bash the doors down until they fall off and say, "Hey, give me an endorsement." But at this point, it's like, I've got all the dreams, guitars I've dreamed of. So I'm happy with what I've got and how I represent the band and the brand, and couldn't ask for more, really. So
yeah, 100%. No, that's cool. I know we were talking about backstage how you went on tour with Soulfly.
Yeah, we ended up playing a show.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. So we did a band competition for Primitive, which I don't think I've at least introed the band here, but I play in a metal band called Primitive. We're based in Melbourne, and we did a band competition to get on Good Things last year.
Yeah.
As I was saying earlier, it was like the best shows we've probably played or had or ever had fun with. They were like on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, and they were free for everyone to come down, and they were 10 minutes from where we all live. So it was just this cool hang that we had. And it really just like, the only thing we could do to try and get that spot was to play the best shows we can play and just put on the best show possible.
Yeah.
And that resulted in just having a really fun time. I just remembered playing, like, we just played, I mean, we didn't win, so I'm not like really gloating here, but we just played really well. We were like, this is great. I'm very happy with the performance that we had on those nights. And then not getting that spot was fine. It was like, all right, that's all right. Like, we're not a band, anymore. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And then it was like a day later or whatever. It's like, hey, do you guys want to support? We've got the offer to support Soulfly. And I'm like, yeah, this is the best consolation prize that one could ever ask for by not getting a festival slot. So we played locally at the Croxton, which was like 1,000 cap venue. Again, not too far from home, which was nice. And we just like played a sick show, and then watched Soulfly from like upstairs. And I was just like, I'm like, this is sick. So it was just one of those moments where you're like, and we've had a lot of those moments where you feel really grateful and you feel just really pumped up about being in a band and doing what you do. And but that was just a really good moment, a really inspiring moment. Yeah,
that would have been awesome, a really awesome experience, and like even to meet and maybe hang out with the guys as well.
Yeah, we had we didn't really hang out with them in regards to, we didn't share stories or whatever, but they came up to us as we were setting up, shook our hands, and we were coming in and said, hey, welcome. Thanks for being on the show. And I was just like, yeah, thanks, Max. How about thank you? Like, like one of the innovators of what we do now. So like, it was just a really cool experience. It was like, I think 15-year-old versions of ourselves were just like, this is wild. So yeah, it was a very good time. Can't complain.
Well, have you heard of the band called Witch Grinder? They're from Melbourne.
Yeah, we've played with Witch Grinder. We played with them at Blacken, and I don't remember the year, maybe 2018. So they played that show the same with us. So in the middle of nowhere in Alice Springs.
Yeah. I saw them with Static X recently.
Cool. Yeah, that would have been sick.
And this is when I was still doing Pink Sock, and I was just leaving for the Static X meet and greet because I needed to get home. I can't miss this last train. I got to wait till like 6 a.m. in the morning, and I have work the next day. And the guy's like, "Oh, Static X, huh? How fucking good are they?" And I'm like, "You're that guy from that band Witch Grinder, right?" And he goes, Yeah. Oh, I'm like, "Matt, I got a podcast. Want to be on it?" He goes, "Yeah, sure." So we had him on the podcast, and I got Mike from Pink Sock into Witch Grinder, and we love them. And he was telling us the story how Ghost got them to support them.
Ghost supported Ghost, or
Witch Grinder supported Ghost.
I actually think I remember that because the last time they were here, was it like
2016 maybe,
something like that? Yeah, I remember watching.
I think when they're playing Soundwave or something like that was like the last time they actually just played like a festival, not a headline tour.
Right. Yes.
The first headline tour was October, because I went to that gig.
Yeah, I think the last time they were here was for Download, I believe. Because
I think it was too.
I watched them instead of watching Slayer, and the boys in the band that I was like, we went to the festival together. Like, are you missing out on Slayer? I'm like, I gotta see Ghost. Like, I gotta dance for like, 45 minutes. And they were brilliant. So I love those. Yeah. I love Ghost. I saw Ghost at 1,900 cap. Is it 9, maybe 800 cap venue here in Melbourne. I just went on my own.
Recently?
It was like when they were coming up. So it was the second album. So it was quite a while ago, but I just was like, these guys are so sick. It's just so fun to watch all the theatrics.
They are, yes.
We just watched them recently. They came here and played, I think it might have been 9,000 cap arena, something like that.
They had to change their venue. Well, everywhere they had to change their venue.
Had to get bigger.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I mean, they're they're one of the biggest bands around right now. Like, just everyone loves them, and they like good music.
Well, that's catchy music too. I saw them at Kudos Bank Arena, because obviously Sydney is closer to me. But I ran into a friend of mine. He was at the Beer Garden, and I don't drink or anything. I just ran into him. And then he's like, I can't believe like how many people are here to see Ghost. I'm like, dude, they're like the new generation of the Kiss Army, bro. Like,
true, yeah. I mean, it's a similar vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But bro, that was the best concert I've been to in the last maybe 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar vein as you, where we watched him and we were like, it was just great. You're kind of just speechless after it. You're like, this is just amazing. Like, people give them a hard time, or they're not real metal. They dress up like they are, but they're not. It's like,
who gives a fuck?
Who cares? Like, what are we fucking complaining about here? Like, they're writing catchy music. The visuals look great. The way that they like sort of the members play with each other on stage is just really, really kind of wholesome and fun, and it's just a good time.
It is,
It doesn't have to be all serious. It's okay. Don't
yeah. At first, their music put me off for a little bit.
Yeah.
But until I heard the song "If You Have Ghost," and I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then later on was like Dance Mackinbear or something like that, and then Square Hammer, like the hits. But then I like the well-known song, that like the not so popular songs like Life Internal and stuff like that, which I hope that they played, but they didn't play. But
got too many bangers.
So
they can't
good.
fit all the B-sides in there.
Exactly, yeah. But even the last album they brought out, Empire or whatever it is, not the covers one, the full length album. Yeah. Mark and I reviewed that album too, and that's such a 70s and 80s hard rock vibe.
100%. I'm just looking up I don't mean to be rude. I'm looking up the album now.
Such a great album. They did release a covers EP.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Like Hunter's Moon, Kaisarian.
Yeah.
Spillways is good. Call Me Little Sunshine's mad. Like, it's a great album. Good album.
Very, very dark but catchy. And that's exactly like Billy Vallow from the lead singer from him. I'm going to see Billy Vallow in March next year at the ML Theatre. Oh, no, not ML, the Metro Theatre. I got tickets for that, and I'm a big Billy Vallow fan.
Nostalgic,
I love his lyrics.
Yeah.
The dude's lyrics. Have you listened to the latest album?
I haven't.
His solo album. Listen to it. They are very touchy, like dark breakup songs and that I can relate to. But like, but his lyrics are just so fucking dark, but like very catchy. If you listen, to
sick.
it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I should check it out.
Yeah.
I listened to him a lot.
Him a lot. Same. Big fan.
When I was growing up. So yeah, it was. They're a fun band to listen to.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Bam Margera, I wouldn't, discovered that band.
No, he helped blow them up. Yeah, absolutely.
And also ripped off the Hardigram logo, but that's a different story to tell.
I think didn't he buy it?
Fucking who knows, man.
I'm pretty sure he or at least he trademarked it. I think he did something like that. I don't know if it was.
He might have bought it.
Yeah, right.
He might have bought it, but then he copied the him logo as like his name, Bam.
Right.
So he copied the font and the layout, if it wasn't for Bam, shout out to Bam Margera. Hope you're doing well. But I know you probably don't want to be on this podcast, and that's fine by me. But
no, get him on here. He'll love it.
Yeah, but dude, your latest EP, with the rats and the snakes is a fucking banger.
Oh, thank you.
It reminds me of early Trivium.
Yep, that makes sense.
Meets Machine Head.
It's funny you mentioned that, because they're two of the bands that inspired probably inspired us as a group growing up the most.
Yeah.
So I would definitely put those two bands in there, and I would put Lamb of God in there as well. Just spanning the 2 EPs and the single that we have. There's just this style of metal that it's probably a little under the radar, at least at this point, at least in my opinion, or the local scene and the national scene. There's 1,000 tours coming up this year, which is great to see, because we're seeing things like In Flames and Creator coming and stuff like that. So, and Knotfest as well. So there's a lot of that style of metal popping up at the moment. But it's just those bands that we grew up with at that certain time that we can't get away from. So it's definitely, Trivium, me and Frankie, the guitarist in the band, bonded over a lot. We just love Trivium, and like I wanted to be Heafy and he wants to be Corey, and we still kind of do. And it's just good. It's just we not rip them off, but we wear our influences on our sleeves. We know who has inspired us, and that's a spot on analyzation, if that's a word. Analysis, I should say analysis is the word, of where we got our inspirations from or our influences from.
Yeah, even like the single that you got brought out in 2019, For the Week.
Yeah.
That's also a banger song. Me and Mike loves you guys. He's from America. Oh, cool. He's the one that do Pink Sock. He loves you guys. Oh, I've got him into. I've got him into so many Australian like hard rock, metal, punk bands, and he loves them.
Cool.
And that song reminds me of like the Justice for All era of Metallica.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first EP was quite groove driven. We didn't really leave a lot of out of that sort of tempo, that 140 sort of triplety feel groove. We did a lot on the first EP, so it was kind of like the next sort of natural thing was to, I guess at that point was like Primitive's rawest form, which is energetic and heavy, which is something we didn't really do before, but really wanted to sort of showcase that side of us. To be honest, there's still plenty that we haven't shown people in regards to what we like and how we want our music to be. So, but again, another spot on reference, or another spot on influence that we've had. Metallica is a big one. There's like 4 Metallica records framed up. So
I've got a Static X signed poster.
Oh, sick!
I went and saw them.
Very cool. Yeah. So these bands are important to us. Whether you're a musician or not, it's like you connect to these bands and you grow up with them. And
exactly right.
Yeah. So it's important. They're important. Yeah. So yeah, cool. It's actually quite cool to hear you go, oh, that sounds like Trivium, or that sounds like Machine Head, because it's just what we grew up on and what we love, what we still love to this day. So I definitely want to do my best in incorporating that sort of style of metal and get it out there as much as possible, especially on an Australian front.
Yeah, 100%. And Metallica's been one of those bands that's influenced a lot of people, but then they've also taken out a lot of bands that are not well known out on the road to get noticed, like Volbeat. I never heard of Volbeat until fucking Metallica took them out on the road in 2018 or whatever it was. Or
they did that
with one of their stadium tours.
Well, Hetfield basically made hold on. Hetfield didn't make Ghost huge, but definitely gave him, if Hetfield's wearing a Ghost t-shirt, a lot of people went, "Who are Ghost?" and started a big conversation about them. Same with who was I was going to mention someone. I've totally forgotten. They brought out the Sword. I didn't hear of a band called the Sword. I don't think they're a band now. I think they've broken up. But I think they toured with them a little bit and they blew up. I think I heard Baroness because of Metallica bringing them out. So like, there's a lot of bands that they introduced to the world. So
100%. Which is really good, and Volbeat is awesome because they're like the Swedish version of Nickelback.
That's a good. I like that. That's good. I don't.
No,
I
but
haven't
no.
listened enough of Volbeat, but I love that we play it a lot here. I love the "Don't Tread on Me" cover.
Cover, yes,
The
yeah.
Metallica cover, like it's just so fun to listen to, and like you have a little dance to it.
Yeah, it's
really
different,
fun.
and that's what I like about those songs.
Yeah.
That entire cover album is really, really good too, because Ghost was in it.
They did a
They
great
did Enter
version of Enter
Sandman.
Sandman. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they
close.
tuned out. They tuned out a D standard, but it's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I haven't really fully listened to it yet. Like it's like the whole.
There's a lot going on
because
yeah,
it's like 30 different versions of each song.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Or whatever it is. It is, yeah, and Volbeat, Swedish version of fucking Nickelback. They're still great, but like, yeah,
That
to me
album-
they're like this.
That Blacklist thing is such a smart move on Metallica's front. Like, just to get into, and I could be wrong, but they brought out an album under their label of bands that covered their music, which needs the permission to use their music and release. And then we just got extra royalties from releasing their own music from other people. I could be wrong, I don't know, but it just sounds like, and there's like 300 songs on that album. It just seems like there's money just circulating back to them.
What?
Like, really, it's just such a smart idea.
Well, isn't it funny how they just gotten rights to their own music recently?
Yeah, they've had them. I think they've had them maybe 2016 or something like that. I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, having your own masters would be pretty. I mean, for someone who's on a major label, would be a pretty a big accomplishment.
Because I remember he was on, James Hetfield was on the Joe Rogan podcast like 5 years ago or something like that. And he did mention it to Joe Rogan, that how they actually got the rights.
Yeah, which is
to
weird.
Own every part of their music.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, for a band that's been going around for like nearly 40 years or something like that.
40 plus, yeah.
You think by now they probably have royal rights to their own music. But the music industry is evil, and I'm sure you've seen that side as well.
I mean, I've seen it on a very little local level. We don't really deal with anyone unless we're outsourcing sort of PR services or anything like that. So maybe some show bookers and things like that we've dealt with that are a bit have colorful personalities, and we maybe wouldn't want to deal with them. But I mean, we haven't felt, personally, I feel we haven't felt the wrath of the evil music industry. We've been doing it all ourselves, so we don't have anyone to refer to be honest. But
yeah,
it's been okay.
Especially what Spotify is doing as well. Like,
I mean, that sort of stuff. Yeah, we never see money from the band anyway, unless it's from T-shirts and shows. So it's kind of weird how music is a free marketing tool for people to listen to your band, to buy the merch, where it should be, you should be making money off the music, because that's the most valuable asset. That's the whole thing that's driving the train, not a T-shirt. So it's funny how that's all turned around, where the music is something. Yeah, you say for the music, and obviously, but like it's not the thing that supports you that much anymore, unless you're a huge band.
Yeah,
like, bigger bands than us at least. So
yeah, exactly right. And especially like bands like big bands now, like Airborne. I believe they started off as like a pub rock band. Just played in pubs, and now they're fucking playing like a bloody whacker and getting noticed.
I was told that the bass player of Airborne was at a show of ours earlier this year. I was like, fuck yeah, that's mad.
That's awesome.
Just for someone to be there of that level, it's just like so cool to even just learn. It's just in your head, you're kind of like, oh, that's mad.
Well, even like Parkway Drive, man. I remember the first time I saw Parkway Drive was the Killing with a Smile album that came out.
Mm-hmm.
The second full length EP or whatever it was. and they played at a pub just up the road, or club called Dicey Riley. Oh, not Dicey Riley's, Oxford Tavern. And it's just like a small capacity pub. You could probably fit like up to maybe 100 people at least.
Cool.
And it was wild.
Yeah, we got
it was wild.
Quinny, our bass player. I think he talks about watching Parkway in Frankston, of all places. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's a pretty notorious area for bad things. But it's got a good scene there. There's a cool venue there that people go to. So I think Quinny saw Parkway in Frankston. I saw him in Geelong at like a basketball court or basketball arena, or I don't quite remember. It was like kind of like a basketball stadium type thing, but it was just watching them grow and watching them just blow up and doing things like Varkin and all those festivals, and actually at Knotfest as well, was just amazing. Their production's so big now, and you can see all the hard work that they've put in. So they deserve everything, all the successes, because they've just been grinding for decades now, which is amazing and inspiring to see.
Yeah, and isn't it now? Because now you mentioned it, Knotfest. Isn't it funny how Knotfest is coming to Australia, but Slipknot won't be a part of it?
I think it's normal. I think that's. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that would help. Wouldn't help them getting here if they maybe don't have a drummer at the moment. I'm not sure what the grand.
From what I've read, what happened to James Weiberg, which is kind of a shock because he brought that band to another level. You know, the Grey Chapter was like by far the best comeback album that came out. You know,
I've loved everything. Yeah, Jay has done. I think he's just a brilliant drummer. Yeah, he saved the band.
But from what I've heard, I think they kicked him out or something due to creative differences. But apparently he was going through a surgery.
Yeah, I think he had like hip and a femur surgery as well, or something like that.
Yeah, and then his recovery time wouldn't match to the touring schedule that's probably going to be coming up in the next year or so. But there's something to be like Trivium. Like Trivium's gone through drummers like left, right, and center. It's as much as I love Trivium, but like, dude, ease up with the drummer.
they went through quite a period of, I think it's maybe like 5 or 6 drummers now they've had. So it seems like Alex Bent is here to stay. He's been around for a few years now. So, and he's a brilliant drummer. He's effortlessly just smashing it. So
100%.
He also brought that band to a new level as well. Just like that technical, such an efficient player. It definitely helps. Yeah. It's the backbone of the band. It's one of the most important. No, I think it's the most important thing in a metal band is if you don't have a good drummer laying it all down, then you don't really you don't have the foundations. The riffs don't sound the same. If you have great riffs and great vocals, it's not going to sound anywhere near as impactful if you've got a bad drummer in the background. So,
yeah, 100%. And I remember yesterday before we had to cut off early, we were talking about social anxiety. Mm-hmm. This was like maybe a year ago or something like that. Tracy Guns from LA Guns was meant to be playing a gig, but he was suffering from like stage or audience anxiety or whatever it was.
Right.
So what he done, he set up his rig in his dressing room and got his phone and put it on Instagram Live, and he played the entire show on Instagram Live while the band was playing on stage, backstage. Like he was playing backstage.
Wow.
And that was smart. That was smart because I believe he was suffering from social anxiety for a very long time. So he might have just, I don't know what happened. Maybe he just had one of those moments where he was just like, nah,
really struggling.
I'm not ready. Maybe, yeah. So he hooked up his rig backstage and put it up on Instagram Live and just played.
I mean, that's one way to get around it. It's calling back to, I guess, the resources we have these days. If you can do something like that, it's amazing.
It is. I think that's a very genius move because I think not many artists will probably do that. They will just, sorry guys, I'm canceling this show.
Cancel the
blah,
show,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
And then they will start a riot. But no, I think that's a smart move what Tracy Guns did, and he saved the show really.
Absolutely,
While the band was playing on stage. At first I thought that he was maybe in a shitter or something playing guitar on Instagram Live because I would do the same thing too. But like, I was rock. So I saw it pop up, and then it was all over Blabbermouth and stuff like that. And I'm like,
yeah, right.
That's the reason why he was live. But how did you get into playing guitar?
Metallica.
Yeah, that's.
Still,
I think that's. I'm pretty sure that's every fucking young kid's fucking dream.
So like really early when I was like 10 years old, maybe I started to get lessons, and like within the first 3 weeks, which mind you was 3 lessons, I ended up breaking my arm pretty badly, and I was in a cast for my left arm. So I was in a cast for about, I think like 6 months to a year from memory. It was like such a really bad break. I had multiple sort of surgeries and pins in it and re-breaks and multiple plasters and things like that. So the start of my guitar journey ended pretty quickly. And then after that, I think I was about 15, 16 or something like that when I thought of, I guess not even doing it again, but just sort of picking it up. And that really was amplified by, I think I saw some Metallica thing. I think it was live shit, Binge and Purge, the Seattle, probably every metalhead story, but it was just like the furious energy you see from something like that really sticks with you, and you're like, that's so sick. Like, it was so cool. And really just started from there. So about 15, 16, got into that, had a teacher at school who was the same teacher that taught Frankie as well, the other guitarist in the band. And that's how the band started as well, through school and through a band workshop program that they had, which is really, obviously, we're grateful for it because who knows, we maybe not have played together when we were 14, 15, 16, and then started Primitive, I guess, at 20. Our first show, Primitive show, was 2016, so we were 20 something, early to mid 20s. So yeah, we all of us in the band have kind of had we've all grown up together for the last 15 years, so we've all kind of seen each other's growths and progression into our instruments. So it's a very long-winded answer, but yeah, it was just Hetfield doing his thing that made me want to go, I want to do that too. And not much has changed since then. It's all kind of been the same thing, which I'm totally happy about. It's a fun thing to go after.
Yeah, 100%. And for me, it was Kiss.
Sick. Yeah, a lot of people I know derived from Kiss and their theatrics and whatnot, and it's just such a lively band. It'd be hard to get away from it. It'd be hard to go like, oh, that wasn't cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just so sick.
Yeah. Maybe now it would be like that, maybe, but like back then, everybody was talking about him. Everybody was like, who's behind the makeup? Everybody was just, just so into them. But then it's so funny, at a short period of time, they were like releasing albums after album, like almost every year.
Wow.
And they weren't great. They weren't great songs, but fuck, they were catchy. But like, they brought out merch that, that probably bands at the time wouldn't be releasing. They were releasing fucking tampons, fucking, Kiss condoms and everything. To me now, Kiss is more of a marketing brand name because their name is on everything.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where, I'm sure they were making heaps of money off their music at that time, but leading the charge in like getting a revenue stream elsewhere, and maybe not every band's doing tampons and condoms, but
they have everything. I know they're in America. There is a Gene Simmons museum vault thing. How they got every collectible item that they have had all over the years, from fans, from everything. Yeah, it's just like in one big museum or something like that where people can go in and have a look and stuff like that. But yeah, Kiss did it for me back then. But then performance-wise, stage-wise, was Alice Cooper.
Sick. Big Alice Cooper fan, huh?
Yeah.
I'm quite a big Alice Cooper fan.
I've met him once, like for the Motley Crue tour, the farewell tour. It was kind of weird that Alice's meet and greet was on when Motley Crue was playing.
Right.
And then it was cool. It was super nice, super friendly. He signed heaps of my stuff. He signed my Welcome to My Nightmare album. He signed the ticket when he played in Wollongong, like, I don't know, 9 years ago or something like that. He signed that for me, and then started chatting. We shaked hands. He was telling me the story behind Schools Out, because I got the Schools Out logo tattooed on my wrist and stuff, because it was the first album, first song I was trying to learn how to play. And he was telling me the story behind the riff and all that. I'm just like blacked out. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I don't really remember too much because I try not to fanboy. I try not to fanboy with these type of things.
Yeah, but, I met Hetfield. I met James Hetfield in 2013.
I think I saw that in one of your posts years ago that you had.
And that was a similar thing where, like, he's asking how old I was. And I was 22, 23 or something. Oh, no, 10 years ago. I would have been, 22. And actually 21. I would have been before I turned 22. And he was just talking about, like, that was like Ride the Lightning time for him. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why? Like, am I talking to James Hetfield about Ride the Lightning? And, like,
how did you meet him?
It's a funny story because it was just during... I was working in a guitar store at the time, and just to add some context, there was a work party the night before. So I think it was a Saturday night, the party. Everyone went very hard, except me. I don't drink or anything else.
Likewise.
Good man. And so I was fine. I was fresh as a daisy on a Sunday working at 10 a.m. and every muso retail worker working there was just, heads in their hand, feeling sorry for themselves, hungover. And a buddy of mine, shout out Billy, he sees a Facebook post and it's his mate saying Hetfield's on Brunswick Street in Fitzroy. So it's a pretty busy street. And, like, no one was fucking working. Well, no one was paying attention. And I'm just like, I'm out of here. I'm going. I don't, like, it's quite cheeky of me just to leave. But I just left work. No one really knew. And it was probably about 15 minutes away at the time. And I had driven all the way down from one end to the other of Brunswick Street. And by the end, I'm like, nah, this is silly. Why did I think I'm going to drive down a street and he's just going to be there and I'm going to notice him and whatever. And this is no whatever lie. I turn around to do a U-turn. About to do a U-turn and he's right there. And he's right there at the end of the street. And I'm just like, I can't believe this has happened. Like, what the fuck is going on? So then I didn't even park my car, man. I just, like, put the hazards on. I'm in the car's just in the middle of the street. And I, for some reason, had, I don't have it. I thought I had it up for some reason. Do you know when Death Magnetic came out, there was, like, the coffin. Do you ever see the coffin case collectible thing? I had that in the car for no, I don't know why. I don't remember why. But I ended up getting it. I'm like, he's got to sign it. I don't know why I've got it here, but I had it. Went up to him, approached him. He had, like, one guy with him, assistant or whatever. And it was just like, it was quiet. It was just me and him. No one else was around. We spoke for maybe, it felt like 10 minutes. It probably was 45 seconds. But, we had a good chat, spoke about guitars, blah, blah, blah. And then he signed the Death Magnetic box. He signed my wrist and I got it tattooed that day. And that was my first tattoo. And I was like, this is a great day. So I've got, I don't know if I'll be able to show it, but I mean, if you look at it that way, there's the J.
Oh yeah, I could see it. Yeah, that's awesome.
The 13 of the year. So I was like, and that was the first tattoo, and I was like, oh, that was just amazing. So
Alice Cooper did the same thing to me, but then I was gonna get that tattooed because he did it next to my Schools Out tattoo there. I decided not to because it's a thing that everybody does that shit. So I just took a picture of it.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Hetfield's signing my wrist, I'm getting it tattooed. If it's a generic thing, I do not care. It's,
yeah.
You know, there's not many people that can. I was just so lucky and grateful to be in that opportunity in that time. So I'm like, nah, I have to imprint this, and especially on my right hand where he's the downstroke king. So, you know, if I ever lose some energy playing the show, he's helping me. He's getting it. He's just oozing it out the right hand. So
I can't alternate pick for shit, but like I pretty much I fucking suck at it, man. I'm more of a down picking dude. I got it from Hetfield, man. Hetfield's like the master of down picking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really hard not to be enamored by that and just like admire that sort of playing, because it does bring out a certain sound and gives you a certain, raw energy, which is really exciting. I can alternate pick a little bit. I don't use it, all that much, but you know, when it's required, I'll give it a go. But if I can down pick it, I'm down picking it. And me and Frankie, we always in a rehearsal space, and I'm just watching him. I'm like, you down picking that bit, you know? And he'll look at me, and we just like eye off, like if we're doing it, and if we can't do it, then this is funny. So good little. And
the way how he hold his pick too, man. It's like this.
The 2-finger thing, yeah. I've tried it, and it's just.
I can't do it.
Crazy. I can't do it either. I do it every once in a while just to get the feel, but no, I can only do the normal way. I'm 100%. At the end of the day, can't just do it because as much as I do, I can't do it just because Hetfield does it. Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, we all have our own different picking style.
Correct.
You know, Misha Mansour from Periphery was saying that the first time you hold a pick was just to grab it with 2 fingers like that.
Yeah.
That was the first time he held it because he never knew how to play. At the point he was starting to learn to play guitar, so he just had it in the palm of his hand and just picked it up and just played like that.
Yeah, interesting.
Cool. Kind of makes sense. Corey Thomas from Valkyrie AD was telling me that he uses this side of the pick, the edge.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So,
did he explain like? Is there a sound advantage that he has?
I think it's because you know how like the tip of the pick normally wears out when you're playing. With this side, you can still get the most out of it.
He's very efficient. That's nice.
I have to send you some of his songs. Maybe you can listen to it like before you play a gig or something. Yeah, cool. But obviously pinch harmonics. He told me he does these, but. Yeah, but he told me he plays like that. Every guitar player is fucking different, dude. But like I know you're not into. Yeah, 100%. And I love playing guitar. Guitar has helped me going through a lot of shit. But I also just love music in general. You know what I mean? Like posting stuff and seeing people like AC Slade liking my stuff is fucking amazing, which I have his guitar pick here.
Nice. I'm stoked for you, man. That's great.
Yeah, I got heaps of those, man. Every time I buy his coffee, he's always putting these fucking. Does he tour with Lindemann?
Oh, cool.
With Till Lindemann a year ago or something like that. So he put these used guitar picks there, which are very light picks. Like I'm more into the heavier 1 mil picks.
Yep.
I'm into those, but at the moment I'm using the Tortax Jazz Free Flows.
Yeah, they're cool.
7 mils. Yeah, I've got like a box of them underneath my laptop. But before we head off, because I know you got band practice and stuff like that.
We can push it another 15 if you want. Yeah, I'll just drive fastly and safely. But if you want, if you want to do an hour and 15, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I know this is a horror podcast, horror related,
Yeah,
and
I
I know
felt
you
bad.
told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can say I know you're a big Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's
I did see that. I think I did see that on an interview somewhere or something like that. I guess you can that's sci-fi, right? I'm
It's
not. I'm
sci-fi.
kind of into it. Yeah, but sci-fi I can classify as horror
Well, yeah. Look,
a bit.
I didn't grow up liking horror. Admittedly,
Yeah.
I never. I think I had as a kid. I just had too much of an imagination where if something even scared me or even thought of something, it just wouldn't leave my mind, and I'm like, I can't do this to myself. I can't do this to my brain. So
especially the ones that are like based on true stories.
For sure, yeah. So
Yeah,
and like I didn't know the different types of horror and whatnot, and my girlfriend who will watch horror at like any point. I don't know how she like.
Good on her.
She loves it, and she was like, oh, I'll get you to watch it. I'm like, no, you won't. I fucking hate horror. I'm not doing it. And I've probably watched a bunch of horror films in the last 2 to 3 years, but like for some reason the last few months we've just been watching a bunch of them. So I couldn't tell you. I wish I did more homework, but like I know we've watched like Insidious, Hereditary.
That's good. Yeah. Yes.
All
well,
like that was amazing. Yeah, and probably like the classic. Like we ended up watching like the Scream movies and like some of the Halloween movies and like all those. So like some slasher things. Some probably I don't know what you'd call Insidious and Hereditary, just horror films.
Yeah, I think they're more. Insidious is more like psychological horror.
And I think I like those ones. I think jump scares never. I was never a fan of them. I just hated like not being in control of what was about to happen. Where like a comedy, you're fine laughing. But yeah, it was. I'm getting used to it a lot more. So I want to get out what you think I should watch. Being a new fan.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Tim's girlfriend for getting him into horror.
Love you. Yeah. Thanks.
Actually, it's so funny. When I was with my partner at the time, our first movie together was The Black Phone, the one with Ethan Hawke. Yeah. It's about like a fucking amazing movie. It's about a guy that just kidnaps kids and takes them to the basement and stuff like that. Kidnaps one kid, and then he kind of survives, and he gets like the flashbacks from all the kids that gets kidnapped and stuff. And Ethan Hawke in that movie was fucking amazing. Yeah, right. But yeah, that and Get Out is like a psychological thriller.
We watched
Jordan Peele.
Has he got 3 films? We watched all 3 of those.
Yeah, fucking amazing. Get Out was a great example of the society that we live in racism.
100%. Yeah.
That movie was great. Us was tripping me out with the whole double family thing.
I like
that little girl and that. Me too. I saw that in theaters. And Nope.
Nope was great. I think Nope was my favorite.
Nope was weird. Yeah.
Super weird. But like, he just did it. He's just a very talented man. Jordan Peele, was it?
I believe he produced the Candyman movie.
Cool. Okay.
The reboot, I think it was, or the sequel. I don't know. They need to stop doing sequels and requels and reboots and direct sequels from 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Well, like, see, Scream was my first taste into horror.
Yeah.
The first Scream movie, because my parents let me go to the video store and I get to pick up the.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was young. I was like maybe 12 or 13 at the time. But Scream was that because I just like the psychological effect on that.
Yeah.
The opening scene with Drew Barrymore. You think you've seen Scream, yeah?
Yeah. Sorry,
Scream.
We ended up watching. We watched like 1 to. I think we haven't watched the last one. Is there 6 of them?
6 of them, yeah.
We watched 1 to 5 in like a night. So like maybe 2 nights. maybe 2
Yeah.
nights. But yeah, Kat and I went hard on the Screams. So, but I got to give it credit, man. I actually enjoy them. I enjoyed all of them. Yeah, but sorry, please continue.
No, you're right. The Drew Barrymore scene is when you think she would like be the survivor, but she wasn't.
Yeah. So that's probably like, I guess maybe quite different to traditional horror films where.
Yeah, because pretty much yeah, and then Rose McGowan, she gets killed in that movie. Like you think, oh, another North Star cast. Nah, she gets killed.
Everyone dies.
You know what I mean? Exactly right. Yeah, but then the fifth one kind of gives it away. Scream 5, when it came out like 2 years ago, it kind of gave it away with the killer because it was pretty obvious on who it was.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember. Spoil it for me.
Yeah. So pretty much it was Jenna Ortega's big sister.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I was her boyfriend. It was
two of them.
Pretty. Yeah. Oh, there's always going to be 2 or at least maybe 3 of them in a fucking movie. Apparently, from what I've read, Jenna Ortega won't be in Scream 7. Apparently, due to her schedule of doing Wednesday season 2.
Okay.
And the other main character chick, got fired after she made her comment. She made her comments about what happened in Iran or something like that, with the attacks or something. She posted up something about it, and then the directors told her to fuck off.
That's also a shame. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with Scream 7. Will they bring back Neve Campbell back? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a shame that it can't continue. It has to be something because of something completely outside.
They could do what exactly. It can take just like one little thing that a celebrity can say, and then it gets linked out. They find it offensive. See you later.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
there's
no cause of redemption anymore. It's just you say something wrong and people will shun you for forever. And I don't exactly agree with it. I think if someone says the wrong thing, they have every right to sort of
have their own say.
Well, if have their own say, as long as you're not really hurting anyone. If it's not the majority of an opinion, that's a shame for the people who don't agree. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I suppose it's depending on what's said, but there's a lot of things that get said and people get cancelled for, and you're like,
but it is the internet. They can spread anything. I don't know, man. But that's what I've read recently. But if you're into like comedy horror, watch Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, okay. I've heard good things about it.
Fucking, it's stupid. It's kind of stupid but funny. I took my dad to see it in theaters
Nice.
for a bit of father and son time. And me and my tattoo artist he loved it. He reckons it was dumb, but yeah, he loved it. But he got me into horror anyway. He got me into like watching Saw and all that stuff. Me and my tattoo artist were talking about it one time. And he goes, have you ever seen Cocaine Bear? I'm like, yeah, I took my dad to see. He fucking lagers, man. That movie is so fucking stupid, but it's so funny at the same time.
gotta have stupid movies sometimes.
Exactly. I'm really so for my recommendations for anyone that's new to horror, I'll probably get them to watch Halloween, the original Halloween movie. Because if you watch that and a reboot of Rob Zombie's Halloween, they're 2 different storylines. Yeah. Very similar, but 2 different. I'll probably go with the original Halloween, then go with Scream, then Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors was like the best one out of all of them. 4, I'll probably go with Get Out, because I think it's one of the best psychological thriller movies that's came out in the 21st century. And for anyone that's not really into psychological horror and that wants to get into it, check out Get Out. And the 5th one's always going to be hard to pick, but probably The Strangers. It's also a good. It's another good. I guess it's horror, but to me it was more of a thriller. Yeah, cool. Apparently, it was based on true events.
Does that always freak you out when you're watching?
It does, yeah. Especially home invasion movies too.
Yeah, yeah.
Those ones freak me out. But there's heaps.
You know, like he's so easily relatable. Like anyone, not that it happens. I mean, no one's going to kick down our doors. Touch wood tonight.
No, yeah,
yeah. But when it's like a realistic, whether it's based on a true story or not, whether it's if it's a realistic situation, you're like, this is.
And but then Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, is good too because like it's just so cheesy.
Yeah.
You know, look at it now, like from 50 years ago. You like, was that really scary back then? But if you watch the remake, the 2012 reboot, that was awesome. That's a little bit more gory than what it was from the original. But yeah, there's just like heaps of horror movies. I don't know what I like about it. I think I just like about it because like horror movies to me is like you can connect with everybody as well, and they can just talk about one thing. It's the same with metal, right?
Yeah, it's just and it's funny. It's funny how you correlate those two things because like we'll watch a horror movie and I'll be like, and they'll like wear a mask or something, and I'm like, this isn't scary. Like Slipknot had scarier masks at the time. Like, what am I like not liking horror for when this is just metal in visual form? Like these are metal movies. So like it's funny how similar they are. And I just never noticed it in the 15 years of liking metal. So, which is such an obvious one, but yeah.
Well, like metal and horror so go together because, like, without those two, you wouldn't get shock rock.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
Even like the new wave of shock rock, like Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, Wednesday 13, and all those bands. You know what I mean? That's like horror related. But yeah, there was one movie that I've watched recently, and it was fucking amazing. It was an Australian film called "Talk to Me." It was filmed. It's directed by two twin brothers from Adelaide.
Oh, I've seen that.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, she got the. Is it about the lady and the daughter?
Yeah, with the hand. Yeah, I went to some party or some shit, and then there was like some hand that possessed them and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
It's like this Australian film. Yeah, I watched that the other night, and fuck, man, that tripped me out. But that was cool. I was, very Australian horror is very underrated. Another movie that you should kind of watch is called Slaughterhouse. It's about a sloth.
I was hoping you'd say that after I just heard that title. That's so good.
It's about a sloth. Yeah, it's very stupid, but like I'm still trying to figure out how to fuck a sloth. How does a sloth pick up a handgun?
So I just realized that was a thing in the movie. That's hilarious.
It's very low budget. Another good movie that you should watch is and Mike hates it.
Mm.
We reviewed it and I gave it a 10. But Velocipaster. So Velocipaster is a low-budget horror film. It's about a priest. It's about a priest that gets revenge on these people that kill his family. He wakes up in the middle, like in a woods somewhere, and this there's some Asian lady comes up to him with a velociraptor claw and scratches his hand, and then gets all these fucking powers and stuff. And he just noticed that he forms into a dinosaur. So fucking stupid. Like, there's not like the backstory for the whole movie is just like he's fighting ninjas for fuck's sake in a dinosaur suit.
That's so good. That's
It's on YouTube. You can watch that.
Yeah. Right.
And if you're into like heavy gore horror, I'll probably recommend watching Terrifier 1 and 2.
Okay. Terrifier.
Which is very gory. Like the first one is like very B graded, but then the second one hit the box office really hard, like really big at like took over like Halloween Ends or something like that.
Cool. Yeah, right. Interesting.
Apparently, the Australian government was trying to ban that movie because of the amount of level of violence.
Oh shit. Okay.
They didn't want to have it in theaters, but it got past it, and then they only played in selected theaters around the state.
Funny.
Yeah, which
Must
is
be pretty intense.
harness. It is. Yes, it's just about a clown in a suit just going on a rampage, man.
Funny. You gotta have those movies,
And
man.
yeah, very, very violent. But if you can handle the gore, but then also the first 2 Saw movies is good.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Saws.
First Saw movies is a must watch. It's like more of a psychological horror. But yeah, dude, I better let you go to band practice. And,
yeah, sure.
We're gonna have you back on again, maybe out in the new year.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to.
Sometime.
Yeah, no, we'll do it post tour, and I can give you any weird stories about that. I don't think there'll be many. I'm a pretty quiet myself guy, so
that's always the best. Yeah, you could just lie about it. You can just go on Google.
Yeah,
I'll
give you some rock star antics, and none of it will be true. I can do that for you.
Yeah, who the fuck's this Tim guy playing for some band that's named after a Soulfly song? Like,
don't tell anyone.
Yeah, guys, make sure to check out Primitive. They're on all social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, I believe. Yes, Instagram. Yes. Yeah. You can follow Tim on Instagram and on YouTube. He does like really cool gear and guitar reviews. Check out his latest one on the Kirk Hammett. Was it the Epiphone V that you done?
Yeah, Epiphone, based on the 79 V.
Yeah. Check that out, and also check out this fucking amazing EP because it rules. You know, if you like Trivium, if you like Machine Head, or if you like Nickelback. No, I'm joking.
Nickelback's the next one. That's the next thing we're gonna.
You should cover a Nickelback song.
What song you reckon?
How do you remind me? Oh, no. Look at this photograph.
Yeah. I want to do we used to do, as in like when we were younger, before Primitive, we used to play. Have you heard the song Animals by Nickelback? Yes. Fucking great song. We used to play that a lot. Oh, not a lot, but I just remember playing it, and it's such a fun song to listen to. But no, Nickelback slaps. I love them. So there was that moment where like it was cool to hate them, and you're like, yeah, cool, but you can't deny they've just got some bangers that are just so fun to listen to. It's hard.
Yeah, 100%. And Chad Kroger may be a dick, but he writes some really good music. But yeah, and if you're in Melbourne, go and check him out in Killfest.
Yeah,
some really cool bands that I've.
Well, it's about an hour. It's about an hour out of Melbourne. I should preface just in case. We're in Kilmore for this one, so shout out to Mick, who plays in Firing Squad and does Quirky Sounds. He's the guy organising it all. So I think might be the third year. So he puts it on for Kilmore, and it's just a good thing by him. So we're excited to play it. Be quite fun.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Tim, I really appreciate you for doing this. It's been a long time coming, and I better let you go to band practice.
No worries,
and remember,
I'm keen to come back though. It'd be good to chat again. I had fun. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, dude. I appreciate you, and maybe you can give me some guitar lessons. But
you got it. I don't have much to teach you, unfortunately. Just watch Hetfield.
Yeah. But remember, guys, stay kind and stay creepy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.